Hey, it's Squidly. I've been backpacking long enough that I think I've got a pretty good handle on a lot of things, but I freely admit that there are a handful of things that I really just don't understand. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. And so here are 5 things that I admit I just don't understand. The first one is Hammock Systems. Now, this is not criticism or questioning Hammock Systems or anything at all like that. I'm just sort of admitting that I haven't been around a whole lot of hammock campers, and it just seems like Hammock Systems have a lot of moving parts, and I don't understand all of it. I'm not saying I couldn't understand it. I'm not saying that I don't want to understand it. I'm just saying I haven't had enough exposure to it to understand all the things that go into making a hammock system a good system that is comfortable and protects you from weather and does all the things that hammock campers say that it makes it so wonderful. I've even had a conversation with someone who was a hammock camper. We talked on the phone for a while, and I was trying to get a handle on kind of what all the stuff was, but it's one of those things where I didn't know enough about what he was talking about, and his experience was so advanced that he was talking over my head, and I just really couldn't follow everything. So that's the first one, Hammock Systems. I don't understand all of it. The second thing I don't understand is how to pack the right amount of food. I err on the side of taking too much every time, and I've been doing this for 30 years now. And for the life of me, I don't understand how people get it right after only a few trips. I see on YouTube, there'll be videos of someone who has some experience, but not a whole lot. And they're saying, oh, don't worry about the food thing. You'll get the hang of it after a few trips. And I'm thinking, I haven't gotten the hang of it after a few decades. I just don't understand how people get it right. Now, let's also add in that I'm diabetic, and so I have to take some emergency food, and I do have to err on the side of taking a little bit too much, especially with some of the snack stuff during the course of the day in case my sugar drops. But so I've got that working against me. But even before I was diabetic, I couldn't get it right, and so even now with taking the emergency food, I come home with a lot of extra. And so that's the second one, how to keep from overpacking food. The third thing that I don't understand, and this is going to take this conversation in a little bit of a different direction, is intentionally leaving trash either on the trail or in campsites. For the life of me, I don't understand, and I'm not sure I want to understand the thinking that goes into doing that with a clear conscience. I've been to a lot of campsites. Actually, put a period on the end of that. I've been to a lot of campsites. But I've been to a lot of campsites where there was a lot of trash left either in the fire pit or just kind of left around camp. I even have been to a couple of campsites where you could clearly smell something, only to find that there was a bag of trash that was just barely buried, maybe with a little bit of soil, some leaves, some sticks, just some stuff to cover it up. And I'm thinking, how do you do that and just leave it there with a clear conscience? I couldn't do that. That would just tear at me. But I really am not sure that I want to understand the thinking that goes into that and being able to do it with a clear conscience. But I see it all the time. I know others see that kind of thing, and I just don't understand it. And so that's the third thing that I don't understand, leaving your trash in the backcountry and doing it with a clear conscience. Okay, this fourth one's probably going to get me in a little bit of trouble. I'm okay with it. And it is spending crazy amounts of money to reduce your pack weight by just a couple of ounces. As you go through a process of reducing your pack weight and upgrading your gear, you finally reach a point where Either you have the lightest thing that's out there, or in order to get the next lightest thing, you would spend basically hundreds of dollars per ounce in order to reduce the weight of a piece of gear. And I think there's a point you get where you've reduced down to where you're happy with it, or down to where your budget will allow it. And to try to reduce it any further becomes prohibitively expensive, that you just can't or don't want to afford the reduction of a handful of ounces and what it would cost. And so periodically I see where, someone has reduced their weight under 10 pounds or even as low as 6 pounds. And I just think, I don't understand the motivation to shave off a handful of ounces but spend so much money doing it. Now, that's not to say that they're wrong and I'm right, or they're right and I'm wrong. I don't think there's any right or wrong in it. I think it's just the motivation in it and the willingness to spend that amount of money to reduce by those few ounces. I just don't understand it. That's what I'm admitting here, is I just don't understand it. So that's number 4, spending crazy amounts of money to lose each ounce. And number 5 is staying fresh and clean on trail. I see other people backpacking. I'm around them. I see the stuff they put on YouTube, and they've been on trail for days and will look fresh and clean. I've also seen people in real life, and I know they've been on trail that long because I've been with them, and they just look fresh and clean, and I look like Pigpen from the Peanuts cartoons. I will feel completely grimy. All the salts on my skin, on my face, no matter how much I try to wash off, it's still there. It just doesn't go away until I get home and take a legit shower. And I just don't understand how people can look and feel fresh and clean after days, because I never do. And I have people who will say, well, yeah, I washed my face, I cleaned up a little bit, I feel pretty good. And I'm thinking, I washed my face, I cleaned up, and I feel awful. And so I just don't understand how, after days on trail, people can look and feel fresh and clean, because I just can't. So that's number 5. Okay, those were 5 things about backpacking that I just don't understand. Do me a favor, in the comments, tell me some additional things about backpacking that you don't understand, and let's have a conversation. Also, on the way out, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.